got to tune up a little bit this morning. Good morning. Good morning, friends, and good morning, fellow guitar enthusiasts. I'm Jason Carey here. I'm your host for this morning's morning ritual for guitar growth. I see we have someone visiting, a viewer. Maybe that viewer is Kevin. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, sir. Kind sir. All right, here's the 𝗨440. And that's my 𝗨440. That one's for you. This is your A string right here. We'll go ahead and get started. And if you're just tuning in, why don't you go ahead and grab your guitar? Why not? We can grab guitars together today and we'll go ahead and play guitar together this morning. And oh, that D string is just a little sharp. Little sharp. Here we go. I'll tell you what, it's good to see you. I see 4 people here. It's good to see you. And how are you doing this morning, guitar? Good morning, guitar. Good morning. It's good to be here. It's good to be able to play the guitar for another day. Wonderful, wonderful opportunities here. All right. That is a little out. Not sure what happened in here last night. But no worries, we'll take control of this situation lickety-split like. Here we are. Not quite there. We've got a pretty solid morning of warming up, so without further ado, I want to welcome you to Morning Ritual for Guitar Growth. I'm Jason, your host here at Jason Carey Guitar, and venture capitalists looking for oil in the Zagros Mountains. And you know how you do that, don't you? You find a salty glacier, and that's how you know where to dig for the oil, right? So now you know. That's on my 2013 release album called Rebirth. It's a 𝗪𝗿𝗵𝐵𝗵𝗵. You can find that at Jason J. Carey, anywhere you consume your music listenables. Arabian Moon, it's a fun one. You know, it's Chris Cornell meets Jason Carey, maybe. Something like that. Let's get going. 1 E and a 2, T E and a 4. We're starting with fingers 3 and 4 on 10 and 12, and we're not wasting another moment. We are embracing every single note we have available to us this morning. We're starting with the old two finger groupings. These are contiguous finger groupings, by the way. They are articulated by the fret hand going down and up. You'll see that down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. I think I have to turn this over here a little bit more, and then maybe we can get this organized. And 1 E and a 2 E. I'm on position number 3 now. And 4. And we're moving up to 5 and 7 with fingers 3 and 4. And we're just moving along this morning. good breaths in and big good breaths out. Maybe this one comes in through your nose. And then big breath out through the mouth. Just a good way to get started. Good. Fingers 2 and 3, the 2 middle fingers, and go. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be here doing the morning ritual for guitar growth. I do think so myself. We had a wonderfully beautiful, really heavy recording session, and you know, earlier at the end of last week, and it was just a really great track to play guitars on. Just super heavy, you know, like just boom. I don't know, it's not super fast, you know, but it's just super heavy and thick guitars, you know. And the vocalist was just able to do that, you know, that growl, that low growl that I haven't heard many people be able, you know, get away with it and legitimately be good at it. You know, I haven't heard many people just use the microphone as an instrument and just be really good at it. And 1 E and a 2 fingers, 1 and 2 and 10 and 12. You know, there's the Philip Anselmo from Pantera, who's, you know, one of my favorites, and you know, he's got a really great stylized sort of brutality, if you will, in his vocal approach, and just owns his style, and this vocalist is in a similar category, you know, but doing it differently. So the song is called 𝗪𝗿𝗆, and the 𝗪𝗪𝗆, I don't know if you know what the 𝗪𝗪𝗆s were, but it's you know, A Tale of Two Cities or whatever, coming and grabbing the people and rolling them off to the guillotine. That was a 𝗪𝗪𝗆 that you were in. And a really powerful song, and you know, maybe you'll hear a little bit of it later today when it releases. It's partially releasing today. Fingers 1 and 3, you know, the contiguous finger 2 groupings are coming gone now. We're moving on. We're doing fingers 2 and 4 on frets 9 and 12. Good morning, and we'll start right away. If you're here and you're brand new to the situation, I wanted to take a moment to welcome you to the fray, and you can double tap the screen if you like. Double tap the screen. That will give us a good like, a good thumbs up. And just after you double tap the screen, just stick around. You know, you must stick around for a few minutes. And if you're a guitar player, you might. And thank you for the double tap. And thank you for double tapping the screen. I appreciate that. I see that. And if you're a guitar player and you're new, just go ahead and grab your guitar. If you have some time, if you don't have any time today, don't worry, because I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you don't have your guitar today, you can always come back tomorrow at the same time when you have more time to spend some seat time with me. So 1 E and a 2 fingers, 1 and 3 and 9 and 12. Here we go. And what I'm doing here, it's a morning ritual for guitar growth. It's really a morning ritual for personal growth. I'm getting to know myself as a guitar practitioner, as as I approach becoming a professional, whatever it is. I don't know what you call it, a professional, a practitioner, one who practices the thing. Anyway, if you too would like to become a guitar practitioner, and you really are looking for an organized approach to this and a low barrier for entry, it's free every day, every weekday morning. And you can always tune in when you like and always leave. It's not like Hotel California. You can leave whenever you want. And no one's holding you to it. Fingers 1 and 4 on 7 and 12. Let's go ahead and continue right along, shall we? 1 E ended, 2, 7 and 12, 4 attacks per beat, 60 beats per minute as per usual. Why do we use 60 beats per minute guitar? It gives us a moment. It gives us a moment to observe. Are the transitions from one position to the next clean and inaudible to the ears if the eyes are closed? If the answer is yes, good. If the answer is no, also good, but now we are aware of it. And if we're aware of the thing, we can fix the thing. Sometimes I feel like I roll through life, you know, and I just am not aware of the thing that needs fixing. So how am I ever going to fix it if I'm not aware of it? Anyway, let's go ahead and double tap the screen, and that will give us a like, and that will help both of us feel good. It's a mutual benefit situation, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So grab your guitar. If you're not with your guitar, we'll be here for another hour until the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. That was my arty segue into the 3-finger groups. So now what we'll do is we'll start with fingers 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and 4, and then 1, 3, and 4. Let's go ahead and get it. 1 E and a 2. I'm glad you're here with me. Go. 1 and 2. Oh, sorry. 2, 3, and 4. Go. Yes. 4 attacks per beat, and why I'm after it at 60 beats per minute. Every morning, you'd think I'd do this enough, I would get good at it, right? And I would be confident enough to speed it up a little bit, wouldn't you think? Why is this dude on the internet just playing 60 beats per minute for an entire year? What's wrong with this dude? Well, I think the idea is to have a foundation upon which, or a basis, let's use a little rationalism here, a basis upon which to build the argument that I'm going to move in a solid fashion. I want to understand every foothold before I place a foot, because, you know, even if I'm on a 15-degree grade, but I'm on ice, if I make the wrong foot selection and it slips, I could fall for a long, long time, or fall for a long time. Even if I'm on a really, you know, it's not a steep grade. So I'm going to equate that with the slower, sort of perceived slower tempo of 60 beats per minute. So 60 beats per minute might seem slow, but if I'm making mistakes at 60, they're big mistakes. So I'm really being careful to just be mindful of every tone. Breathing in, here we go. 3, 1, 2, and 3, go. And then breathing out. And then breathing in. Posture check. Breathing in. can see the you know, sort of the catastrophic number of things the process can just can overwhelm. And I'm trying to process all of those things at the same time. And my, you know, I think I'm able to do that pretty successfully at 60. But if I'm new to these things, it's not always easy, right? So the warm-up, it's important to practice the things that we know. And then sometimes the things that we know only give us, you know, 5 minutes worth of warm-up. And that's okay, because when we are just beginning, we don't have the tendons, we don't have the tissue, the muscles, we don't have the, you know, the basis upon which to build endurance, right? Yeah, you know, so a shorter, you know, more but still observant guitar warm-up can make or break it, right? It could make or break us. So if we don't do it, it will definitely not make us. But if we do practice only 5 minutes, we can move that dial. 5 minutes for a week, 5 minutes for another week, 5 minutes a day for another week. And then for the next month, we're doing 10 minutes a day for 5 days a week. And the month that follows, we're doing 15. And then so in 3 months, we're doing, you know, we could, if we can do 15 minutes, we could bump up to a half-hour practice or warm up. And then so on. So 1 and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. How much warm-up do we need to do? Well, that's part of what I'm doing here this year. I'm here for the entire year, as you know, 2025. And now's a great time to double tap the screen if you're here, if you're just pulling in. This is the morning ritual for guitar growth. But I was saying, I'm here for, you know, the whole year of 2025. Good Lord willing, of course. And the plan is to take a look at where I came from on the very first stream. I keep forgetting, you know, sometimes I forget this is actually what I'm doing. I wanted to see what it looks like to practice, to warm up, 260 hours plus a year. So I'm going to go back through the first video I did and review it and compare it and contrast it against the last video I'm going to do of 2025. And that will give me some methodology for calculating a longitudinal approach to the guitar. I've never seen anybody say, here's what it does, here's what 260 hours of finger warm-ups does for you as a guitarist over the span of over the cycle of a year. So that's the cyclical sequence that I'm engaged with. I'm currently engaged with. And I do get some feedback, you know, so I wanted to cover this in case this bothers you. This is the thing that's bothering you right here. This is the metronome, and the metronome is not intended to turn us into a robot. You know, I know it can seem to do that. But the metronome is here for us to help inform and make solid the way for the tempo to come through us. And we have confidence because of a tempo. And we also know we can push and pull that tempo based on the consistency of that tempo. So tempo is super important. But I understand if the click is not for you, if it's too clicky, it's too loud or annoying, you know, the only thing I could do to say to help you out with that is just go ahead and grab one. I have one here in the link in the video. You can buy one, a metronome, right here through this video. It'll help support the channel for sure. And this guitar is actually featured in the link too. It's my Martin D X2E. You can grab that through the affiliate link in this video. I also use this 𝗀𝗶𝘁 every day on all of my guitars. It's a 𝗧𝗊𝗶𝘀, which is also featured in this video. And the most important thing, well, I think all of these things are probably equally as important, right? And you can only wonder why. But the tuning fork is what I use in the mornings to tune up. I don't tune up with an electronic tuner. I want to take my ears and my breath as the first part of my morning warm-up cycle. All right, so the first part of my morning warm-up cycle is to breathe. Check my posture. Is my pelvis good? My lower back good? Am I seated correctly? Am I breathing correctly? And then am I hearing the tones correctly? And this is great to put it on your guitar, but it's even better to put it in your teeth, because what happens over a semester, if you put this tuning fork in your teeth, you don't hear it. Well, you will hear it if it's in your teeth. If it's in my teeth, you won't hear it, but if it's in your teeth, you'll hear it. You'll feel it vibrate your cranium. And that, my friend, is super important, because this actually tunes your skull, your cranium. It will tune your body. And the more we do this, I remember ear training classes, what part of the assignment for a semester was to have a tuning fork, an A440 tuning fork, and listen to it. Keep it in your pocket, never bang it on anything metal, because you want it to remain the same exact mass that it was calibrated at the factory. And just put it in your mouth every half hour, every 15 minutes or an hour, wherever you think of it. Keep putting that, address that in your teeth, and it vibrates your cranium, and just absorb it for 15 seconds. And then we'll see what that does for us over a 3-month period. You get really good at singing the right. You get really good at sort of remembering that sound. That's how we develop really good, consistent, solid foundations in the world of relative pitch. Perfect pitch is a completely different thing. Good relative pitch is where I want to be. So I can make sure I know if I'm on an A, I know I can play an F sharp if I like to. Then a G sharp, and then a B, and then back to a C sharp and an A. Right, I want to know good relative pitch. So here we go with fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now we've gone through all of the 2-finger groupings, you know, all of those permutations, 3 fingers. Now we're back to being 4-fingered guitar. A little celebration here would be double tapping that screen, you know, be great for us. 1 E and 2, 9, 10, 11, and 12, fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Yes, good quality breath goes a long, long way in our world of guitar, in our world as guitar practitioners. Do you ever ask yourself why you play the guitar? Is it a calling? I mean, why on earth would you do this instead of race Formula One? You know what I mean? Like, just more affordable? I mean, it's what. One thing about the guitar is it's portable. You can go anywhere, pretty much anywhere. And if you get up the creek without a paddle, you can always use your guitar as a paddle and get yourself out of there. And then, but fundamentally, like, since we're talking about the basis upon which to build an argument and the foundations of the thing, what is it that drives you to play your guitar? I'm just curious, you know. Why are you a guitar player? Do you ever give that a thought? Like, what motivated you to even become interested in the guitar? I mean, it'd be just as easy to dig a hole in the ground with a stick, you know? Who knows? I can answer that for you. I have a personal answer to that I'm willing to share with you, you know. The reason why I started playing guitar is, if anybody's watched the, I have an old video I sort of let linger a little too long on my channel. So if you're a newcomer to the channel and you go look at my channel page for the first time, there's a welcome video. And then that little welcome video, I'm talking about a little bit about why I play guitar. E and 2, where are we at now? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, stretch 4, I think. 1, 2, 9, 10, 11, and 13. So the real reason why I play the guitar, 1, E and 2, D. And it wasn't to get girlfriends, you know, it's not. I don't think it was ever to do that. You know, I had a good upbringing, and I was in church every morning. You know, every Sunday morning I was in church as a youngster, and there was a beautiful, I remember, you know, running, you know, crawling around on the church, the organ, and crawling around there, and kind of on the foot pedals, you know. And I didn't realize I was making any noise, but I guess everyone else in the church did. But there was a folk group that would do like some music ministry, and I always enjoyed like the sound. There was a guitar player. That's right, a guitar player who I've got 33 people watching right now. Check this out. So this guitar player died at 33 years old, 3 days before Easter. And his brother also died at 33, 3 days before Easter. Who was also a guitar player, you know. Weird, really weird stuff. But anyway, he had this folk group going where they were singing soprano, alto, tenor, bass, or they were at least singing parts. And to hear those parts be sung in tune as a youngster, that made a lasting impact. And I'm thankful that I had that lasting impact as part of the sacred volumes of music. And not that I don't, you know, not that I don't appreciate secular music, because I like secular music as much as the next rock and roller, you know what I mean? It's I've been, you know, all over the place playing like heavy rock and roll and speed and shred, psychedelic, you know, sort of hippie jam band music, and playing in fields on flatbed trailers and huge, really big concerts, you know, and but I like that as much as anything else. But I'll tell you what, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to stretch. We're doing the kickstand. If Jill's here, this is for you and others who know Jill through the old live chat, which may be coming back. This is for Jill. All right. So we're doing the kickstand. So 8, 10, 11, and 12. 1 E and 2. You know what to do. Yes, you do. For Mark and Robbie. Man, Raul's been writing a bunch of tunes, but I'll tell you what, Anthony, I think, has been writing a bunch of tunes. I'll tell you what, it's been a spell since the first time I remember the music in the church clicking with me. It just clicked, it just grabbed me, and that harmony, there was a guitar, maybe 2 guitars. My folks were singing in the group, and it was a folk group, and their friends, but they worked every, you know, Saturday or Sunday. They would have rehearsals and work on their parts, and they would practice. And I'm just thankful. I'm really thankful. I don't want to get too, you know, but I am thankful that I do have, that I did have that experience early on. And I think that, you know, 𝗪𝗏𝗄𝗃 all, you know, I'm not comparing or anything, but I remember reading and I think hearing that 𝗪𝗏𝗄𝗃 started in the church, you know. I think a lot of people start in church for some reason. Why is that? You know, why is that? The music isn't about the day-to-day thing. The music is elevated. It's about something bigger than the day-to-day. I mean, it sort of is designed to be a guide to help us through the day-to-day thing. And I think that's why I like, you know, certain music over others, is because, you know, you can kind of see through the music that doesn't sort of, you know, hit the mark, if you will. You know, I think we have some really new things today too, so I do need to leave some time at the end of this session to move. I know this is going to be a lot to sort of absorb for people who are just newly coming into this. I've got to stretch too. I've missed my first stretch, so I'm going to stretch right now. I know this is going to seem like it's a lot, but maybe we'll do one shape today, just one pattern, and we'll try to piece it together. But I just want you to know we have 3 new patterns to learn today. 3 new patterns, and I'm going to try to break these up into, maybe we'll learn one pattern today, another pattern tomorrow, and another pattern on Wednesday. And by Thursday and Friday, we can do the composite synthesis thing where we actually plug these shapes into the diatonic situation. So I'm happy to write this stuff out. If you do want a sheet for the shapes of these patterns as we start to approach that, just hit me up at growth@jasoncareyguitar.com, or you could go ahead to the website at jasoncareyguitar.com and just hit us up there. There's some contact stuff there too. So you'll see what I mean if you stick around the last 15 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes. So we have a few more things to get through to finish up our warm-up, and then we'll start working on shifting our step. We'll be sort of in stasis between that of the mindset of the warming up and that of the mindset of the practicing up. All right. And here we go. At the risk of losing you, I'm just going to breathe here for a minute and enjoy this time. But I'm here with you, so don't worry. I'll come and get you when it's time to move on. Good. And then this is the last piece of our stretch for this morning, for this one. And I typically use this as an opportunity to realign my body, get my breath flowing correctly, confirm that that's all working correctly, and then what I'll do is I'll come back to, I do this for 16 clicks, this for 16 clicks, this for 16, this for 16, and you can hear the little clicks and cracks. That's the equivalent of 4 bars, right? Of 4/4 bars of common time. Yeah. So how are you doing? Have you decided what actually got you playing guitar? Why are you playing guitar? Hearing that folk group for me really got me. Hearing that sacred music, the sacred texts and the sacred music, just really the way it was presented just really spoke to me about put me in touch with something that I wasn't totally aware of. And I remember it was like a switch being flipped, you know. And then I knew right then and there, I was going to play the guitar for the rest of my life. Great tune that is, you know. Just a great tune. You know, there's so many great songs out in the ether still to be found, you know. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and work through this. This old thing, this dirty old rag of an exercise. So we'll start with finger, you know, it's a diagonal pattern, then we flip it, then we descend, then we flip it, then we descend, then we flip it again. And it's all right, you know, it's all fret hand work, but there's a lot of being asked of the picking hand. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, with string skips and all that stuff, you know, just a really good sort of healthy picking hand exercise. So we'll go ahead and start that here. 1 E and a 2. You know what to do. You hear I'm leaving that top tone sort of ringing. Right, so that's kind of part of the exercise. We could leave the bottom string ringing. Let's also start with these minor 7 arpeggios. Because we get all 4 fingers sort of involved in tonicism, you know, tonicizing sort of like a root note area. And you can do different things with it too. Add more notes, so you're just kind of mindful of whether you're playing chromatically or if you're playing sort of, you know, Dorian mode, or, you know, sort of like a Phrygian or Locrian or whatever it is, that minor 7 chord can easily fit into the world of relative minor, or it could easily fit into the world of 𝗨𝗰𝗄. And then you can start working on alternate picking and 16th note groupings or 16th note triplet groupings. Or just kind of practice, you know, efficiency picking here with 1 attack per string. So you can really have some fun with this kind of work. So I think what I'm going to do is just show you a quick second. Let's see here. I wanted to, I've got, my son's asking, or somebody's asking to have a roll-off dumpster delivered here. I think we're moving some things around in another building and getting the building energized and powered up from the local power company. Putting another building to work on the property, so I'm getting some timely text messages, which I don't usually let break through, but these are important. I have to keep, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I have to keep my ringer off, otherwise it just kind of goes all day long. Yeah, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit sort of like warmed up. I think I'm getting sort of there, I guess, but what I'd really like to work on for the last bit with you is something, it's a little bit more technical, so hopefully this will just, you'll get enthused about it, as enthused as I am about this kind of effort. And I'm just thinking, you know, just how to play. There are a few different ways to play arpeggios on the guitar, but I'm trying to play this I want to play it right here. You know, I want to get this together. I want to start introducing this to you and start incorporating this kind of playing in our warm-up cycles, because we're growing. We're definitely growing here, and I think it's really good to be able to play these things as, you know, little pieces, you know, so understand these as little clusters. So I'm starting with the C major because I'm on root 6. I want to get full availability of all 6 strings without splitting the octaves and going down a minor 3rd and having to go up a 5th or what. I just want to try to start with the root note in the bass, right? So C is going to be my note of choice on fret 3, 5, 7, 8 on the low E string, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 string, so root 6. So the root note is on the 6th string. I'll call that root 6. Pretty common tone for guitar players. Root 5, root 4, root 5, root 4, root 5, root 4, 1, 2, 3, 4th string. brings us all back to Zeppelin anyway, but, and here we are at C. Now we could use 1, 3, 5, frets 8, 12, and then 10 on the A string. So 8 on the low E string, 12 on the low E string, and then 10 on the A string. And this is super useful. You see where we're going with this. But we're only going to play this in one position. We're starting with root 3, 5, or hello, 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 right, for those of us who knew the Three Stooges. And then we're using so we're starting with this really simple 1, 3, 5. I need to know where the C note is here. I need to know where this C note is here. I also need to know where the next C note is, because those are my starting points with the first finger. 1, 1, 1. And there's another C note up here on the top fret of my guitar, whatever fret that is. What is that? 15, 17, 19, 20. Right, 15, 17, 19, 20. So that would be 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fret 20, right? Way up there. So we have a C baked in, a high C, one of my old school favorite soft drinks, way up here on the guitar. So we do have a full range that we could have access to. But I want to take that pattern down a notch. I want to stay in the one position here. I want to stay in 8th position. So this is going to look like this for me. I'm using the root, the 3, and if this seems like a lot, come back. The video will be posted under the live tab, and you can rewatch this. Come back at about 45 minutes in, 47 minutes in, and this is where this information will be. You can look at this on demand and watch it in half speed if you'd like. It's all available to you for free. So 1, 3, 5. And then I'm going to roll my second finger up to fret 10 on the D string. Yeah. Good. That's all we need to know for now. 1, 3, 5, 1. Or C, E, G, C, E, G, and then C, E on the top. We have a string skip here. We have a C. C, E, G, C, E, G, and then let's take a look at the two middle, how this is going to work. I have fingers 1, 4, 2 on the bottom 2 strings. On the 2 middle strings, I'm rolling that. See how I'm on the tip of my middle finger here? I'm using the tip for a reason, because I'm rolling that up to the D string on fret number 10. It can take a hot minute to get that finger placed correctly so that we get to a comfortable. It won't be feeling perfect because we usually fret right here. We're splitting the difference between the fingertip, right, and to get that roll correct. That will take a few weeks in order to, maybe a few weeks in order for that to get feeling natural for you. Then I'm moving 2 middle strings are fingers 2 2, 1, and 4, or C, E, G. The same thing we did here, C, E, G. C, E, G happens here. 2 middle strings, or frets 10, 9, and 12. Yeah. Something like that. We have the 2 bottom strings, the 2 middle strings, and then the top string. We have the fret, we're kicking back to fret 8 with finger 1, and jumping up there with finger 4 on fret 12. So 2 middle strings, we skip over the B string. That 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3. That's really what we're doing. So what I'd like to do is just give you an idea. If you do get through this today, what I'd like for us to do is start maybe working on or 1 note per beat and getting this correctly played and comfortable. Maybe it's not comfortable enough yet to even play it with the metronome. Maybe we need to turn off the metronome and get the tongue out. You know, and just find our way through it. That's really what's going to be helpful for us. But whatever we do, whatever we ascend, we should make an agreement with ourselves that we will also descend it. And sometimes I need to practice the descend more than the ascending pattern for some reason, because it doesn't feel like I know it as well as the ascending pattern. So what I'd like to do is know this equally as well for the ascending and the descending. And then what I can do to practice this major triad arpeggio I could start working it through the parallel plane that we use. You know how we do this every morning, right? We can fool around with that, and then we can also do this kind of work, tonal work. So it might start with eighth notes, maybe we're only using, we get to the point, I'm picking every single note at the moment, but I'm also going to encourage you to work on 1 attack per string. So we can start incorporating, what we want to do is fold in those hammer-ons and those slurs. And doing those slowly, it can be painful, agreed, but it's definitely worth its weight in gold to do that kind of work. If you're not already doing it, there's a chance you're already sort of light years away, light years ahead of this, but there's a chance that you're still wanting to do this kind of thing, or like me, you're just fascinated with all of it, and it's all worth observing at nth level of detail. I'm assuming that's what you're doing if you're sticking around, you know. Good posture, good breath. So what we'd like to do is just be able to drag these arpeggios. Maybe we want to get really good at practicing each arpeggio in one position before we start moving it around the guitar neck. Maybe we also start patternizing it, but for now, I'd like to just learn it, right? And we have 2 more patterns to go, and tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off at the last part of the session, and we'll go ahead and get the 2 other shapes that I have in store for you. If you do want the shapes beforehand, just let me know. Just give me a little email at growth@jasoncareyguitar.com or Jason at jasoncareyguitar.com. You can also visit me on the web at jasoncareyguitar.com and make some contact there if you'd like. So I bid you a day of farewell, and I really hope that you have a super day warming up with your guitar and practicing your guitar and discovering some new and exciting territories, you know, on your own, and just, you know, functioning like an explorer. We're going out on little guitar expeditions. And so my name's Jason, and I really appreciate you being here playing guitar with Jason Carey Guitar here on YouTube in the mornings. I'm here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the entire year of 2025, and it's free for the year of 2025, and we'll see what happens after this. I'm not sure, but I'm here. If you want, you can join anytime you'd like, or you also have the ability to not join anytime you like, and you could watch the videos on demand under the live tab. And oh, don't forget, take care of your picks too. Don't lose those things, they're precious. Anything else before we start closing up? I wanted to say thank you again for just being introduced to music the way I was, and I'd been hearing it passively, but just introduced and absorbed. The switch flipped in church when I was a young person, and I knew I wanted to play the guitar for the rest of my life, and here I am, still all these years later, still at it. And I really appreciate you being here with me on the journey, and until we meet again, maybe tomorrow. I'm here every weekday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the entire year of 2025. So if the Lord wills it, I'll be here again tomorrow, and maybe we'll see you again then. Anyhow, until we meet again, I wish you happy picking.